Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle. If you are new here, welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back. As you can see, today we are in the laundry room and I am going to give this space a really beautiful makeover. This room is in the basement, so there are no windows in this room, so I definitely want to add some warmth. I want to brighten this space a bit. This room is also very white. Everything in here is white, almost feels like a room in a hospital. So I definitely want to warm up this space and add some character. In this video, I will also be showing you how I clean a few areas in this space that can also be helpful for kitchens or bathrooms. I'm also going to paint the ceiling in this corner. About 7 or 8 months ago, we had a plumbing issue in the bathroom that is right above this room, and they did have to cut through the ceiling, and I'm finally 7 months later getting around to painting everything in this corner to make sure that it is cohesive with all of the other walls and the ceilings in here. I hope that you enjoyed today's video.
So this is what we are working with. This storage cabinet holds our seasonal linens and bedding, as well as some bulk overstock household items. We moved in a few years ago and this room has been pretty much untouched ever since. It works just fine, everything has its place, but it still feels like a plain, basic laundry room. This is a storage closet in the corner that runs the full width of the wall. To soften the look and add some texture here, I am planning on altering an existing curtain to cover the opening. These are 2 steel beams that are annoyingly in the way, especially the one in front of the sink, but they are load-bearing, supporting the tub in our bathroom, so there is nothing I can do about it. The day before styling, I prepped and gave everything a deep clean. First, I tackled the washing machine using my favorite cleaner from Dollar Tree. It comes 3 in a box and works just as well as name brand ones. I sprinkled in a pack and ran the tub clean cycle since my washer adds water based on weight, but you can definitely run this on a normal cycle. Once it was all done, it was extremely clean and smelled really good. Next is our utility sink. This is where we wash out our paintbrushes and other harsher things that can't go down a normal drain. So there are a lot of stains. It's not terrible, and this is what happens with utility sinks, but it is due for cleaning. So I am going to use Barkeeper's Friend to remove the stain and random things that are stuck on here. I am using the liquid Barkeeper's Friend, but you can definitely use the dry one as well. I wet the sink and I'm squeezing in a good amount all over. I did not let it sit based off of the instructions and I just began scrubbing right away. I then used the brush for the areas that I couldn't reach and a putty knife to scrape off whatever this is. This is the before and this is what it looks like now. This took me about 10 minutes to do, so using Barkeeper's Friend is extremely effective for surfaces like this. I just added a sponge holder and a sponge. Next, I tackled the floor, which had some water stains. Years ago, I learned this hack from Do It On a Dime here on YouTube, and I still use it to this day. Clorox Clean Bleach Gel is really great for cleaning grout in any area of your home. The spout makes it really easy to apply. I only use this product for tile grout actually, I don't use it to clean our toilets. On this day, I let it sit for 15 minutes, but sometimes I do let it sit for up to an hour depending on how bad the stain is. I scrubbed it with a brush and then wiped it clean with a damp paper towel. It works like a charm every single time. I'll leave the link to the Do It On the Dime video where I got this hack from in the description below. I also needed to repaint this section of the laundry room. About 7 months ago, a pipe under the bathroom sink above burst and they did have to cut through the ceiling. Once they fixed everything, they plastered the walls and ceilings over here, and I am now getting around to painting it. And lastly, I wiped down the open shelves over here. There was a stain that was difficult to remove. It looked like rust, so I just used Barkeeper's Friend to remove it. So finally, let's organize and style this space. I am going to begin with the shelves. I picked up these beautiful baskets from HomeGoods. They were $9.99 each. They are extremely well made and sturdy. On the inside of this rectangular one, I am putting all of our overstock cleaning products. I used to store all of our candles and plugins in this old basket, but I decided to move them over to this new one. Using baskets next to each other that are the same color and material just give the space a more cohesive look. And I am using these mini baskets that I picked up from the dollar store for the plug-in scents. I love the vintage charm that old clothespins add to a space. I was so happy when I found these at Burlington recently. I decided to place them in this jar for decorative purposes only because it was raw wood and the wood was splintering, so I didn't feel comfortable using this on our clothes. Instead of continuing to toss loose change into our daughter's old sacking toy, I upgraded to a simple dollar store glass jar. To match the room's look, I spray painted the original silver lid bronze, which is an easy budget-friendly way to tie it into the space. Next to the baskets, I placed this beautiful scalloped brass bud vase that I already had on hand along with the glass jars. On the shelf below, I'm going to use these glass jars to store our laundry essentials. I used paper towel as a funnel to easily pour the stain remover into the jar without making a mess. The second jar is for vinegar. I sometimes dilute vinegar with water and use it to soften our clothes and to remove any odors. I hate having to remove sticky price tags from glass jars. I scraped it off and then used Goo Gone to remove the sticky residue. This stuff is a lifesaver. I rubbed the solution onto the sticky area and wiped it clean with a damp paper towel. I then added scent booster beads to the jar. In an ideal world, I would have placed everything in those beautiful glass jars with a wood lid that I'm sure you've seen on so many channels, but I didn't want to spend money unnecessarily, so I'm just using what I already had. Last week at the thrift store, I found this book. The cover isn't quite my style, but inside it has beautiful photos of serene interiors and short bios of different designers, and it really caught my eye. Since that serene feel is exactly what I envisioned for this space, I decided to frame a couple of images from this book. Luckily, they happened to be the perfect size for the frame that I had on hand. I chose this photograph because it feels so fitting for a laundry room with its rustic charm and clothes hanging in the frame. The other image ties in beautifully with the overall color palette and look I'm aiming for in this space. Next, I added some character with a vintage iron I found while thrifting a few months ago. It is extremely heavy. It looks like someone spray painted it gold, but I like it. The gold finish adds old charm to the shells and beautifully complements the brass bud vase displayed above on the opposite side. This is a scallop tray that I already had on hand. I love that these scalloped edges add visual interest, and it's another piece that ties into the scalloped bud vase and woven baskets above beautifully. Inside, I'm adding these containers I found at HomeGoods. In the top one, I'm storing our laundry detergent sheets. And this one, I'm adding our dryer sheets. next to that, I am adding a container for our wool dryer balls. My husband still likes traditional dryer sheets, so we keep both to fit our different preferences. This is hands down the best stain remover that I have ever used. I took a trip to Restoration Hardware last week to browse with some friends, and I picked up a couple of their catalogs since they're free. I love the earthy and natural tones, so I decided to place them on this shelf. On top of these books, I am styling this terracotta vase with blue stems that I found at Hobby Lobby. I love how loosely and effortlessly they drape, adding organic movement and a relaxed feel in this corner of the room. Once everything was styled over here, I added the finishing touches, simple, clean labels made with a label maker to clearly identify each jar's contents. Now moving over to this storage closet. This is a curtain that I've had for a few years but no longer use. I thought it would be a great idea to alter it so that I can cover up the opening. The width of the panel was perfect, but I did need to hem the length, so I measured out the length that I needed and began to cut the fabric. This was another budget-friendly choice for the space. Instead of buying a new curtain, I decided to repurpose one that I already had. Its light, airy texture and neutral tone blend seamlessly with the color of the wall, and I love that. So this is another hack that I love, using hemming tape. Since this is a smaller alteration and since I don't know how to use a sewing machine, I am using this hemming tape to make the bottom more tailored and neat. All I used to hem this curtain was hemming tape, scissors, and an iron. I cut the length that I needed of the tape and turned the dial of my iron to match the fabric that I'm using, which was linen, so it's the highest temperature on my iron. Once I positioned the tape exactly where I wanted it, I folded the edge over the tape and pressed it with an iron. The heat melts the tape to mimic a glue-like texture, bonding the fold in place and creating a clean, finished hem without any stitching. I continued doing this until the entire bottom of the fabric was hemmed. If you have never used this and don't know how to sew, I am here to tell you it is so worth it. I'll leave the link to the one that I used down below in the description box. The lining is some sort of plastic, so I removed a piece on the edge so that I wouldn't melt it when I applied the iron. And here it is. It turned out perfectly. I feel like this tape is an essential for every single household. I then attached these hooks that I purchased on Amazon and ran a tension rod through them. Okay, now onto this empty white wall. I scoured my thrifted stash and thought that these pieces would be perfect for this area. I visited one of my favorite sites for free museum art in the public domain, and while browsing, I stumbled upon this beautiful painting. I'll leave the link to the website below. I love the muted browns, warm creams, and the cool bluish gray tone of the box that the bird is sitting on. The blue plays off of the blue frame and florals on the shelves and the blue in the area rug that I will be adding to this room. Together, I think the contrast pairs so beautifully with this wooden frame. I thought these all paired nicely with the bird painting, but in the end, I landed on this one and I'm going to use it in this frame. The frame did not match any standard Walgreens print sizes, so I had to get creative. The width worked, but the length was too short. Since the border color complemented the flower print that I chose, I used an X-Acto knife and a piece of cardboard as a straight edge to carefully cut out the original image, keeping the border to frame the new art perfectly. Then I removed the back and separated everything. This is another great example of how you can use what you already have. Things may not be perfect, but making a few alterations and thinking outside of the box can help to save lots of money and time. I set the image aside to use later and place the border back into the frame along with the floral print. It is perfect. I then hung everything on the wall. This is one of the thrifted pieces going on this wall. It seems like some sort of vintage spring water holder maybe, I'm not sure, but I love reimagining old pieces beyond their original purpose, and I love the gold accents on this. And I finished it all off with these faux stems that complement the color palette of everything really well. I took a trip to HomeGoods to look for a rug that could go in this space. There were a few that really caught my eye. I decided on this vintage inspired rug because it has all the colors and tones that I envisioned for this space. I love the faded floral design, warm terracotta, and muted blue-gray colors throughout. Finally, I decided to add something to this empty wall next to the storage cabinet. This is a piece that I found at the thrift store. I have no idea what it is, but as soon as I saw it, I immediately thought it would be a nice piece for a floral display. I had these florals that I used for spring and cut each stem off. I hung the box and placed a few stems on the inside. I also added dried baby's breath to soften everything. Once that was in place, I added another thrifted treasure, this vintage French country style ladder chair. The warm tones fit beautifully in the space, and I love the worn paint on the legs paired with the delicate floral detail along the top. This chair isn't just decorative, it's actually quite functional. It's a really great nook to just sit and wait while the load is finishing. Let's take a look at the before, and this is how the room turned out. I love how the mix of curated thrifted finds and pieces that I already had on hand adds such charm to this space, and each piece complements the others perfectly. I also love that I did not have to spend much. This once white room is now a place that I really enjoy walking into. It is a lot more inviting and is now one of my favorite rooms in our home.
Thank you all for watching today's video. I hope that you love this room and how everything turned out as much as I do. I hope that this also inspired you to decorate a room in your home as well. Before, this space was really boring and white, and now it matches the rest of our home, which I really love. And I also hope that this inspired you to decorate a room in your home as well. Everything in this room was pretty affordable. Most things in here were thrifted, or I found cheaper options at places like Home Goods or Burlington Coat Factory. So you can definitely upgrade your room and do a makeover on a budget. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.